You've seen highlight reels. You've watched stars make it look smooth. But next to these 20, even the best players look like they're still learning how to skate. These are the guys who didn't just play hockey, they owned it. They made defenders freeze, goaltenders guess, and fans stare in disbelief. Some were magicians with the puck, others skated like the wind, and a few were so smart they always seemed 2 steps ahead. This isn't about who scored the most or won the most. It's about raw, jaw-dropping skill. The kind you can't teach. The kind that makes you rewind the replay. These are the top 20 most skilled players in NHL history. If these players didn't exist, hockey might still be a rough, grinding game without much room for creativity. They showed that skill could be just as powerful as strength, maybe even more. Some of them never lifted the Stanley Cup. Others were overlooked, doubted, or even called too soft. But the way they played, it forced the league to evolve. Defenders had to adjust, coaches had to adapt, and fans, they couldn't take their eyes off them. These players didn't just compete. They changed what was possible on the ice. Without their creativity, speed, and hands, the game wouldn't be nearly as fun to watch. This is more than just a list. It's a reminder of why we fell in love with hockey in the first place. If you appreciate stories like this, the kind that take hours of research, writing, and editing to bring to life, then please take a second to like the video and subscribe. It helps more than you know, and it means we can keep making deeper, better hockey stories for you every single week. Wayne Gretzky wasn't just great. He made hockey look like something from another planet. Everything he did seemed effortless. He wasn't the fastest skater or the strongest guy on the ice, but it didn't matter. His brain was his superpower. Gretzky saw the game in a way no one else could. He knew where the puck was going before it got there. His passes looked like magic tricks. He'd send the puck to places no one else even thought to look. Defenders couldn't read him, and goalies couldn't stop him. He didn't need to fight through traffic or blast slap shots every shift. He just found open ice, waited a half second longer than anyone else dared to, and then made the perfect play. People say he had eyes in the back of his head, but the truth is, he didn't need them. He made the ice feel wider, the game feel slower, and his teammates look better than ever. And he made it all look easy. That's what made him scary. His skill wasn't loud, it was smooth, calm, and completely unstoppable. When you watch Gretzky, you don't just see a great player, you see someone who rewrote the entire language of hockey. Pavel Datsyuk didn't just steal pucks, he stole hearts. They called him the Magic Man for a reason. Watching him handle the puck was like watching a magician hide something in plain sight. He could skate into a crowd of 3 defenders and somehow leave with the puck, while the defenders were still looking for it. His hands moved so fast, you almost had to slow the game down just to understand what he did. But Datsyuk wasn't just flash. He had a brain for defense, too. He could poke the puck away without laying a body check, and his timing was so perfect, it felt like he could read minds. There's a reason highlight videos of Datsyuk get millions of views, because you never got tired of watching him. Whether it was a no-look backhand pass, a shootout goal that left goalies frozen, or a steal at center ice followed by a silky finish, he made it look smooth every single time. Even NHL players admitted they tried to copy his moves in practice. Datsyuk wasn't loud, he didn't talk much, but every time he touched the puck, the crowd leaned in. That's skill you can't teach. It's something only a few players are born with. Alexander Ovechkin doesn't just shoot the puck, he attacks it. Every time he winds up for a slap shot, fans in the building lean forward because they know what's coming. His shot is a weapon, and it's terrified goalies for nearly 2 decades. But Ovi isn't just a shooter. His whole game is built on explosive power, strong skating, heavy hits, and an energy that doesn't slow down. He can bulldoze through defenders and still pick the top corner like a sniper. What's crazy is that everyone knows where Ovechkin is going to be, that left side circle on the power play, and he still scores. It's like trying to stop a train. Coaches design entire penalty kills just to shut down Ovi's one-timer, and it still doesn't work. He's also not afraid to mix it up physically. He hits hard, plays with fire, and somehow stays healthy through it all. But maybe the most impressive part of his skill is that it never really faded. Even as the game got faster and younger, Ovi kept scoring, kept powering through, kept reminding everyone that his skill isn't just about flash, it's about force. He's one of the few players who can beat you with grace or with grit, and sometimes both at the same time. Guy Lafleur didn't just play hockey, he electrified the rink. When he had the puck, the crowd knew something special was about to happen. He skated with confidence, his long hair flowing behind him, and a smooth stride that made everything look effortless. He wasn't flashy with endless dekes or tricks, but the puck seemed glued to his stick, and his plays always ended beautifully. Lafleur was famous for his quick and deadly wrist shot, perfectly placed with precision. By the time he started lighting up the NHL in the early 1970s, goalie masks were already becoming standard, but his shot speed and accuracy still overwhelmed many goaltenders. He scored over 50 goals in 6 straight seasons. A testament not just to his scoring ability, but to his style and grace. In Montreal, a city that lives and breathes hockey, Guy Lafleur became more than a player. He became a legend whose skill still echoes through the game's history. Martin St. Louis wasn't supposed to make it. He was too small, too overlooked, and too easy to doubt, but when the puck was on his stick, none of that mattered. He didn't just survive in the NHL, he lit it up. His skating was electric. He'd take off down the wing, cut hard across the zone, and leave defenders frozen. And his edge work? It was world class. He'd shift directions in an instant, slide past coverage, and create chances out of thin air. What made St. Louis so skilled wasn't just his speed or his size. It was his heart. He played every shift like it was his last. His vision was sharp, and he saw passing lanes most players never noticed. And when he shot, it was quick, accurate, and sneaky. He scored big goals in big games, and did it all while carrying the chip on his shoulder from years of being doubted. Now, he wasn't just a scorer, he was a playmaker, a leader, and an engine. Martin St. Louis proved that skill doesn't come in a certain size, and by the time he was done, he left no doubt. He belonged with the best. Connor McDavid moves like no one else. It's not just fast, it's unreal. His top speed is one thing, but what really sets him apart is how he handles the puck at full speed. Most players have to slow down to make a move. McDavid doesn't. He blows past defenders with the puck glued to his stick, and somehow, he's still thinking 2 plays ahead. He doesn't just score, he explodes through the defense and makes it look easy. His first 3 steps are like a rocket launch. 1 second he's gliding at center ice, the next he's behind the net with the crowd on its feet. And it's not just speed, it's control. He cuts through traffic like it's open ice. He reads defenders like a book, and when he's one-on-one with a goalie, good luck. McDavid has already scored goals that fans will remember for the rest of their lives. Spin moves, toe drags, rushes from his own zone, highlight after highlight. He's the kind of player that makes people stop what they're doing just to watch. And at his age, he's not done yet. We might be watching the most skilled skater the game has ever seen. Mike Bossy didn't celebrate much, as well, because he expected to score, and more often than not, he did. His shot wasn't loud or flashy, but it was deadly. Quick release, perfect placement, and always in motion. Bossy knew how to find space, slide into the perfect spot, and fire before goalies could even react. He didn't need a full windup. He didn't need a ton of room. Just a second, that's all he needed. What made Bossy different was how natural it looked. Everything was smooth. He didn't chase the puck, it found him. He wasn't the biggest or the strongest, but his hockey sense was elite. He'd float through the zone, find the soft spots in the defense, and boom, puck in the net. And he wasn't a one-season wonder. Bossy scored 50 goals or more in each of his first 9 seasons. Something no one else has ever done, and he did it without the drama. Quiet, focused, efficient. He let his shot do the talking. In a league filled with chaos and collisions, Mike Bossy was calm, cool, and incredibly skilled. One of the purest goal scorers the game has ever seen, Denis Savard skated like he was floating. The puck followed him like it was tied to his stick. His signature move, the Savardian Spinorama, didn't just fool defenders, it embarrassed them. He'd pull a full 360 turn mid-play and leave opponents spinning in the wrong direction. He had that rare mix of confidence and control. He wanted to take on defenders one-on-one. He thrived in the chaos. What really made Savard special was how unpredictable he was. He could shift gears in an instant, go wide or cut in, pass behind his back or shoot without warning. He didn't need a perfect setup. He created the setup. He played with swagger but never wasted a movement. And he didn't just do it in one season, he was consistent, always a threat, always dangerous with the puck. He played like he was in his own world, one where time moved slower and defenders never quite caught up. Denis Savard brought flair to the NHL, and his creativity is still a highlight reel all on its own. Evgeni Malkin plays like chaos in motion, but somehow it all works. He's big, powerful, and plays with emotion that you can feel even through the screen. But don't let the size fool you. His hands are silky. He'll charge through traffic, lose the puck, grab it back, twist his body around a defender and still finish the play. It's like he thrives on things going off script. And when he gets rolling, there's not much you can do to stop him. What separates Malkin is his ability to mix force with finesse. He can bulldoze a defenseman one moment and dangle through 2 more the next. His wrist shot is quick and dangerous, and his passes come from impossible angles. At times, he looks like he's losing balance, and then he'll snap a pass right to a teammate's tape without looking. When Crosby was out, Malkin took over. He didn't just fill in, he dominated. MVP seasons, clutch goals, highlight reels, he's done it all. There's a wild energy in his game, but it's backed by world-class skill. Evgeni Malkin doesn't just play hockey, he unleashes it. Teemu Selanne didn't just arrive in the NHL, he exploded into it. In his rookie year, he scored 76 goals. That's not a typo, 76. And he did it with a smile on his face and jets on his skates. They didn't call him the Finnish Flash for nothing. His speed was insane, and once he got going, it was like watching someone skate with the wind behind them. He'd fly down the wing, pull the puck to his forehand, and let it rip, all in one motion. But Selanne wasn't just fast. He was smooth. His shot was quick and deadly, but it was the timing that made it special. He knew exactly when to pull the trigger. His one-timers were clean, and his breakaways were calm. No panic, no wasted motion, just pure scoring touch. Even as he got older, he kept producing. He adapted, adjusted, and kept beating goalies with the same silky style. Teemu played with joy. You could see it every time he celebrated a goal, like a kid who still loved the game. And that joy, combined with elite skill, made him one of the most beloved and gifted players the NHL has ever seen. Alexei Kovalev made the puck look like a toy. When it was on his stick, it danced. His hands were some of the softest the league has ever seen. He could toe drag, flip, and fake with such ease that even NHL veterans were left shaking their heads. What made Kovalev different was how relaxed he looked doing it. He wasn't rushing. He was in full control, like an artist with a brush. Every move had purpose. Every deke had a plan behind it. He was also one of the first Russians to bring that level of creativity into the league. Some called him frustrating because they wanted more goals. But if you watched closely, you saw something special. Kovalev could carry the puck through an entire team and still have enough composure to pick the corner or slide a pass under a stick. He made difficult plays look casual, and in practice, players said he could do things no one else even tried. His raw skill was off the charts. There were nights when Kovalev looked like he was playing a different game, not just faster or stronger, but more creative. That's what made him unforgettable. Richard wasn't just the first player to score 50 goals in 50 games. He was the first to make it look like a mission. He played with a fire that never went out, and while most players at the time relied on hard work, Richard added something else: explosive skill. His skating was powerful, his shot was fast and accurate, and he had a way of scoring that felt personal, like he had to do it. He didn't have fancy gear, slow motion replays, or perfect ice, but he didn't need them. He charged through defenders with his head down, elbows up, and eyes locked on the net. Once he got close, the puck was already in. Rocket wasn't afraid of anyone, and they weren't just afraid of his hits. They feared his ability to change a game in one rush. He scored game winners, playoff goals, comeback goals, and he did it with flair. In a league that was still growing, Richard made the game exciting. His name meant something, and even decades later, he's still remembered not just as a legend, but as one of the first true skilled stars in NHL history. Steve Yzerman has started his career as a high-flying offensive machine. Early on, he was all about speed, moves, and putting up points. His wrist shot was quick and accurate, and his passing was sharp. He could make a defender bite with a head fake and be gone before they recovered. He had that captain's presence, but he also had the hands and vision to match. In his prime, there were few players smoother with the puck, but what makes Yzerman truly special is how he evolved. As his team needed more than just flash, he changed his game. He sacrificed personal stats to become a more complete, two-way player. That takes real skill too, the kind that goes beyond highlight reels. His decision-making became his strength. He knew when to pass, when to shoot, when to step up. He led by example, and his ability to stay calm in big moments became part of his legend. Yzerman's journey from offensive star to balanced leader shows that skill isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, steady, and exactly what a team needs to win. Sidney Crosby's game isn't flashy, it's perfect. Everything he does is clean, fast, and done at full speed. He's not the kind of player who pulls off wild highlight moves every night. Instead, he makes impossible things look routine. Whether it's picking up a puck off the wall with one hand, making a backhand pass through traffic, or scoring from behind the net, he's always locked in. His backhand, by the way, might be the best ever. Goalies know it's coming and still can't stop it. But Crosby's real superpower, balance. He's like a rock on skates. You can hit him, lean on him, grab him, he won't go down. That lets him keep control of the puck in tight spaces where most players panic. And then there's his vision. He sees plays develop seconds before they happen. He wins faceoffs, controls the power play, kills penalties, and he does it all with the same focus. Crosby doesn't waste energy. He just outsmarts and outworks you until he wins. He's one of the most complete and skilled players the league has ever seen. And somehow, even after all these years, he's still setting the standard. Paul Coffey made defense look like offense. He wasn't just fast, he was faster than most forwards. He'd collect the puck in his own zone and explode up the ice, weaving through the neutral zone like a slalom skier. Watching him skate felt like watching someone float. He didn't just join the rush, he led it, and that's what made him so special. Coffey broke the mold of what a defenseman could be, but it wasn't just his speed. It was how smart he was with it. He knew exactly when to jump into the play and when to pull back. He could pick corners with his shot, and he could dish out perfect passes that set up easy goals. And because of his skating, he could recover instantly if something went wrong. He was dangerous at even strength, on the power play, and everywhere in between. Paul Coffey wasn't afraid to take risks, but when you're that skilled, they don't feel like risks. He played with confidence, grace, and control. And by doing it his way, he helped redefine the position forever. Kent Nilsson didn't care about the spotlight, but his skill made sure it found him anyway. They called him the Magic Man before that nickname belonged to anyone else, and it fit. Nilsson had hands like silk, a wrist shot that looked casual but hit corners like a laser, and a skating style that was smooth as glass. He played with a kind of freedom most players only dream of, like he was painting a picture every shift. He didn't just beat defenders, he toyed with them. The way he moved the puck, the little delays, the unexpected passes, it all looked effortless. But it wasn't just for fun. Nilsson once put up 131 points in a season. That's not just flashy, that's elite. And what's wild is how many of his peers said he could have done even more if he'd wanted to. Wayne Gretzky once said, Nilsson had more raw talent than almost anyone he ever saw. That tells you everything. He didn't need to shout or show off. The puck did the talking. Kent Nilsson might not be the most famous name on this list, but in terms of pure natural skill, he's as gifted as anyone who ever played. Jaromir Jagr played like he had a built-in shield around him. Defenders would lean on him, grab him, hook him, and it didn't matter. He was still in control. His strength was legendary, but what made him so dangerous was how he combined that power with finesse. He could hold off two players on the boards with one arm and still make a perfect pass with the other. His hands were soft, his balance was unreal, and his hockey brain was always working. What really stood out about Jagr was how long he stayed dominant. Decade after decade, he kept adjusting his game and finding new ways to beat younger, faster players. His trademark move, curling through the zone with one hand on his stick, shielding the puck, became a nightmare for defenses. And even when you thought you had him trapped, he'd find a lane, a shot, or backdoor pass that changed the game. Jagr didn't need speed to be skilled. He had control, vision, patience, and power. And that combination's almost impossible to find. He's a walking highlight reel, a physical force, and one of the most creative players the league has ever seen. Mario Lemieux wasn't just big, he wasn't just skilled, he was both, and that made him terrifying. At 6'4", he moved like a player half his size, with smooth skating and hands that didn't seem fair for someone that tall. He could glide through a crowd of defenders like they weren't even there, all while holding the puck on a string. Lemieux made the hard plays look simple, and the simple ones look beautiful. He had a calmness to his game. Like he always knew he was the best player on the ice. And most of the time he was. His reach gave him an edge, but it was his creativity and timing that made him unstoppable. He could thread passes through traffic, flip backhanders into tight spaces, and score from angles that didn't seem real. And he did it all while battling through injuries, illnesses, and setbacks that would have ended most careers. Mario didn't just light up the scoreboard, he carried teams, carried the league, and reminded fans what true skill looks like. When you think of hockey elegance, power, and control all rolled into one, you think of Mario Lemieux. Bobby Orr didn't just play defense, he changed what it meant to be a defenseman. Before Orr, most defensemen stayed back, cleared the puck, and avoided risk. But Orr, he grabbed the puck and took off like a rocket. His skating was almost unreal. He glided across the ice like he was flying, not skating. The way he weaved through opponents with long, smooth strides made it look like he was dancing. And once he got moving, it felt like nobody could stop him. What really made Orr special wasn't just his speed, it was what he did with it. He'd rush from end to end, dangle past forwards, and still have the energy to score or set up a goal. One moment he was blocking a shot in his own zone, the next he was behind the opposing net setting up a play. That famous image of him flying through the air after scoring in overtime, that wasn't just a goal, it was a symbol of how he played, fast, fearless, and full of fire. Orr made defense exciting, and he opened the door for a whole new generation of offensive-minded defensemen. Without Bobby Orr, the position wouldn't be what it is today.